Okay, so looking at the bottom of the front page of 7-3, we did these yesterday already, where you found the sine of 12, you found the sine, or the cosine of 12 and the tangent of 12. The difference, though, I want you to look at the difference between 7 and 10. What is different there? Yes. The degree, you look at the degree sign, right? Good. The degree sign is missing. Here, you knew the degree sign, and I showed you a button to use. But here, the degree sign is missing. What they've actually given you is the answer, the result. So whenever the degrees are missing, you're going to be using an inverse button. And let me just show you first, and then I'll show you on the calculator. You use the cosine inverse. It's a little -1. And on your calculator, the majority of you, not all of you, the majority of you are going to see it right above in a different color, the buttons that we used yesterday. Sine, sine inverse. Cosine, cosine inverse. So in order to get to that orange button, you're going to have to find on your calculator an orange shift button if you're borrowing one like mine. If you have the kind like this, then you're going to have to hit the orange shift button and then sine inverse first, and it'll show up on your screen, and then you're going to type in what you take the sine inverse of. Okay? So it's extremely important. Use the sine inverse. You don't have to write that every time. You can get used to just using it in the calculator, but for your notes, write it down right now. So in case you go back to look at it, you will know. Also, write yourself this little note right here. When you don't know the degrees, use the inverse. That's the trick. If you know the degrees of the angle we took the sine or cosine or tangent of, then all you have to do is cross multiply like yesterday. But if you don't know the degrees, that's when you have to do something different. Okay, so let's practice with our calculator. Type in 0.4589. And I'll show you on mine as well. Those of you that are using your cell phones at home, don't use them here. If you're using a cell phone at home, it's good because when you come here to take it, to do it in class, it's the same kind of operations. It works the same way. So you type in 0.4589, 0.4589. I don't have a shift button here. What I have is called a second button. That's in there. Yeah. Okay, so when you do that, you see how you get your second functions there. Okay, so the sine inverse is the one I would use, and there's my answer. I don't have to hit the equal sign because I didn't multiply or divide anything. All I did was find it.
Cosine.
Oh, I hit sine, didn't I? Thank you. Where's the okay, 0.4589. All right, so you're right. This one's the cosine, so I will shift again and use this cosine inverse. Is this what you got? Yeah. Okay. Those of you the other kind of calculators, you hit the shift, then the cosine. You get it to come up saying a little -1 sign, and then type in 0.4589. Question? All right. Find the tangent, or find what the angle would be. Use the tangent inverse. Because you don't know the little degrees, you only know the answer. Use the sine inverse, and let's see what angles you get for these. So this would be what? Measure of angles A would be? Good, 42.4. It's talking about the tangent of A. So what they're really saying is that the tangent of 42.4 equals 0.9124. So you have to go forwards, you have to go backwards. For number 12, what's the measure of C right here? Sine inverse of 0.3090. What's the measure of C? Yeah, and that's what it rounded up to, right? Good. 18 or 18.0. Okay. Then turn the page, and we're going to be looking at the bottom of the page, and see if you can get thoughts on that. Right here, number 11. It's the exact same steps as yesterday, except for the fact that number 4 and number 5 are the ones that we have to choose between. So we're still going to circle a focus angle. And in this case, our focus angle is going to be one of the missing angles. And in this case, it's going to be the variable, the one that they want us to find. So focus angle in this case would not be 90 degrees. It's never 90 degrees. It's not this one. It's this one that they want us to find. That's your focus angle now. What would 29 be called? O, A, or H?
H.
H, good. What would 24 be called?
O.
O. And then this one doesn't really matter. I don't even have to label it because it's blank. Alright, so these two letters, O and H, go with what word? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Sine. Good. So I'm going to write the sine of my angle, which in this case, I don't have any degrees for it. So I say the sine of x equals what over what? Give me the sine. Good. Opposite 24 over hypotenuse 29. It's the same as yesterday, except your variable has moved, but the rule, the setup is still the same. Any questions on that? So now you should already have these rules written up at the top. So look now at number 4. Do you know the degrees? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
The degrees is x. We don't know it. So we're going to have to skip number 4 this time and go on to number 5. Are the degrees missing? Yes. The degrees are missing. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the trig inverse button. So in this case, we're going to use sine inverse. Now, everyone's calculator, you have to learn your own calculator right now. But it goes like this. 24 over 29. Those of you with the kind of calculator that's not like mine, you guys get it easy. You type in sine inverse parentheses 24 divided by 9 and close parentheses and you're going to get an answer. Those of you with cell phones or borrowing my kind of calculator, you're going to do it this way. Watch this carefully because once you get it, it'll be the same every time. I'm going to start with the top number, 24, and I'm going to divide by 29. I have to get a number here, 24 divided by 29. And I have to hit equals because I want to know what's inside the parentheses here. Any questions on that? So now on this number, I'm going to take the sine inverse. So I'm going to do sine inverse, and this is what I get. Is that what you got? Yeah. Nice. Make sure your calculator's in degrees always too. Alright, directions said nearest degree. See up here, it doesn't say the nearest tenth, it says the nearest degree. So what would it be? Not 55.9, what would it be? Nearest degree is the whole number. 56. So x is about 56 degrees. So here's the important thing. You have to know that if the degrees is missing, that's what we're going to find. X is 56 degrees. And you do that using the inverse on your calculator, not the regular one. So number 12. What's the focus angle? X. Good. So in this case, focus angle is X. What does the 9 represent? Adjacent. Good. It's right next to it. It's touching it. That's adjacent. What does the 20 represent? Hypotenuse. A and H make what word? Cosine. A and H right here go together with the C. Cosine. So that means you say cosine of what? X. Yep, it's always the degrees. Cosine of the degrees. Equals. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so what number is going to go on top? 9. And what number is going to go on the bottom? 20. Okay, so that's the same as yesterday. Focus angle, that's hypotenuse, that's adjacent. This angle right here is missing. The degrees are missing, so we're going to use the cosine inverse. I'm going to write it out one more time, but after that, you guys can just start doing it in your calculator. It's the cosine inverse, but what would I type into the calculator? 9 divided by 20, that's right. So know your calculator and figure out which way to do it. I'm going to do it this way, 9 divided by 20. Don't hit cosine. What do I have to do before I can hit the cosine? Yes, but even before that, I don't want the cosine inverse of 20, right? What do I have to do? Yeah, hit the equal sign to finish dividing. You have to do that first, and then you do the shift cosine. Is that what you got? And it said the nearest whole number, the nearest degree, so that's going to be 63. Just depends on the directions. Questions? All right, let's try a couple more together here. Number 13 and 14. Let you take a second and circle the focus angle, label the two sides that are there. Let's try that this time. Instead of labeling all the sides, label the two sides that are there. Just take about 20 seconds for that, and then we'll move on. Okay, focus angle is X, because it's the only one that's there. Never use 90. What did you call 17? Opposite. Good. And what did you call the side for 11? Adjacent. It's right next to it. Opposite and adjacent. O and A go with what word? Tangent. TOA. So we're going to say the tangent of the angle. What's the angle? X. Good. In this case, it's unknown. The tangent of X equals, on top is 17, on bottom is 11. It's opposite over adjacent. 17 over 11. Okay, so take your calculator now and use the tangent inverse button. I'm not going to write out what to do. I want you to try doing that in your calculator now and see what we end up getting. The nearest degree. Don't round it to a decimal place, round it to the nearest whole number. Anybody need more time just for number 13? What do you get as a nearest degree? Excellent. And don't forget, in this case, you're giving the angle, so it should be called 57 degrees. Try number 14 completely on your own. Some of you did already. So what do we get for number 14? 22. Any questions? All right. You can look at something and know which way to go. The sine of B equals 12 over 20. Would you use the regular button or would you use the inverse button? Inverse button. You would say the sine inverse of 12 over 20. If you had one like this, the sine of 20 degrees equals x over 18. What button would you use? The sine button. And you would put it over 1 and you would cross multiply. 20, sine of 20 times 18 equals x times 1. Okay, that's what you have to know the difference between. What would you do with this one? Would you use the inverse or the regular? Regular, and you would cross multiply it and solve it. What if you had a problem like this one? Would you use the regular or the inverse? Inverse, because I already have that written. Good. But why? Why would you use the inverse there? Because there's no degrees there. The degrees are the variable. All right, what about this one? What would you use for this one? Regular button and cross multiply. What about this one? What would you use for this one? Regular button. And for this one, what would you use? Inverse, because you don't know what to take the cosine of. There's no degrees there, so you use the inverse. Okay,